I am fascinated with the information of the time spirals. After doing my first few videos on the Krystal Life Spiral and Fibonacci Death Spiral, my friend Thierry sent me a link to a website of a French quantic energy therapist. She has many articles on her blog, and I decided to translate into English and Spanish what I feel is important, because we are at this pivotal time. In these times of ascension, humanity is destined to break through the slavery net, the trap, and reconnect with our true self, the infinite love being. I have experienced deeper peace because of the Krystal Spiral time wave information. I trust this information will bring you more peace on your journey through the tumultuous transitional period. Fibonacci spiral versus Krystal spiral. The Fibonacci spiral and Kathara spiral, Krystal spiral, are two types of forces of mathematics and architecture. They are connected to two types of consciousness: the consciousness of life and the anti-life consciousness or Metatronic energy of the collective of fallen consciousness, cut off from the source, known as Metatron. All living beings on Earth are infected with the Anti-Life Metatronic Distortion, which is a distortion of divine energies. It leads to degeneration, illness, pain, death, and an implosion of energy instead of creating an infinite expansion, healing, creation. These structures have been placed in the 3D terrestrial time matrix by shadow beings to siphon energy from beings connected to the divine, human divine consciousness, for example, from which they feed. The Krystal spiral is generated by addition and multiplication. The numerical expansion of the crystal sequence is done by multiplying the preceding numbers in a specific manner based on the structure of the 12-center tree of life rotation. This rotation serves to create the next expansion, leaving the previous numbers intact. The addition and inclusion of all previous values in the numerical sequence is a key factor for the Krystal spiral. All numbers are the sum of all previous numbers, plus the unit. We get the main number sequence of the Krystal spiral by adding all the previous numbers, not just the last two, as is the case with the Fibonacci spiral, which gradually recedes and separates from source. The Fibonacci sequence, like all Metatronic structures, have a point of origin in crystic structures, but then they diverge by distortions, artificial alterations to prevent the expansion of consciousness and to siphon life energy, temporal terrestrial matrix in which we evolve, for example. The Kathara or Krystal spiral. It all starts with the crystic code that is embedded in the form of the Kathara grid. This grid is oriented on 8 axes of 45 degrees. The architecture of the Kathara spiral is self-powered and autonomous. Its mathematics is represented by including the 0 point in its numerical sequence: 0, 1, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, etc., by doubling each numeric value. Each of the numeric values return to center 0, by adding all the numbers together to get the next highest value in its sequence. The value of center 0 represents the central point of all union, the 0 point of divine source, while increasing the values of the Kathara spiral, which causes consciousness to remain connected to the original source while gradually expanding. Metatronic spiral based on the golden ratio and the 10-point Sephiroth tree. Krystal spiral based on the 12th center Kathara tree. As the Kathara spiral grows, it always remains connected to the center, to the 0 point, to God's source and its infinite flow of energy. This type of structure has a direct connection to source and is self-powered by its divine connection. A feedback loop serves as a permanent exchange between the structure and the source, and self-organizes it because organic energy is intelligent. The Krystal spiral follows the 12-sphere tree of life pattern of the Kathara grid and represents the 12 active strand DNA pattern of the original angelic human. Conversely, the Sephiroth tree with 10 to 11 spheres taught by Kabbalah represents the consciousness which is distorted, limited, and degenerating because it is disconnected from the source. The differences between the Kathara spiral and the Fibonacci spiral and the golden ratio sequence can be understood by their respective relationships to the 0 point of creation. The 0 point. The source, expansion or disconnection. The Kathara spiral and the mathematical sequence from which it emerges comes directly from 0 point or the center point of all union. The Kathara spiral expands and unfolds through multiplication as it perpetually retains a living connection through the preservation of what is before. The Krystal spiral has a permanent, direct, and immediate relationship with its own central point, trinized wave, while the Fibonacci spiral, bi-wave influences, is based on the geometry of the golden ratio rectangle, and it has a point of expansion from which it moves away, disconnecting it from the heart of the universe, the source. Thus, the Kathara code represents the eternal forms of energy which will dwell ad infinitum in their own unique individuation, always connected to the central point, the source, from which they emerge. The expansion growth pattern of the Kathara spiral is found in nature, in the energetic structures and biological forms of an organic, eternal nature. Organic flower of life, or lotus of eternal life, based on the physical creation structures of the unified 15-dimensional source field. She represents the flow of primal light, Kira Shah, of the ever-expanding organic living cosmos. It starts from the 0 center and returns there, constantly regenerating. Metatronic distortions have altered the structure to divert it from its fluxes. This flower of life is based on the open and infinite Krystal spiral sequence, self-regenerating, perpetual power source, 12 geometric lotus petal structure, based on the law of one, the foundation of the Lyrian Syrian founders' original angelic human model of the Emerald Covenant, of the covenants of light, based on the knowledge of eternal life towards ascension, living flows that regenerate our bioorganic circuits. Artificial flower of life, also known as flower of death, flower of fatality, or anti-life. This ancient name, anti-life flower, was adopted in reference to one of the primary inorganic energy distortion geometries used by the fallen beings of the Metatron collective, who intentionally altered and distorted energies and their geometries to prevent us from evolving and to keep us in conditioning. And if we connect directly to the source, all those who work with the flower of life or other artifacts are sincere beings trying to help, but still they get caught up in the illusion of the matrix and its artificial system. Why go through exterior elements? Why give our power to the exterior when we have within us the divine energies? We are dignified and sovereign divine beings, but we have been made to believe otherwise. By connecting directly to divine energy, there is no risk of it being altered, and it does what is right for everyone while respecting their free will. This symbol is a flower of life that lifts the energies and reconnects ourselves to the living and regenerating divine energy. It is interesting for me to note, this is the symbol of the mother. It is also based on number 12. Here are the symbols of Sri Aurobindo and the mother. My friend Thierry superimposed the crystal spiral in pink on top of Guy's spiral of abundance. It followed it perfectly, whereas the Fibonacci spiral in blue went off the path. When I relinquish my power and my whole self to my soul, I willfully accept her past, present, and future creations, and I stop living in fear. Whether I am wealthy or not makes no difference, since true love, the most powerful of all vibrations, infuses my physical, emotional, and mental bodies. I travel along the spiral of abundance and gradually free myself from all limits. In my next video, I will cover Metatron and altered sacred geometry, the flower of life, anti-life flower, and how this geometric system was set up. Infinite love. Let us rejoice, because everything that unfolds in the world of lies is only an illusion, and this world of lies is disintegrating before our eyes exponentially. From hell on earth to paradise on earth, we are creating what most believe is impossible. It is up to us not to comply with any mandates or the coming CBDCs, yet have compassion towards others no matter where they are at on their evolutionary journey. The transitional years that we are experiencing right now will probably last for decades. We have passed the point of no return. All structures of society are collapsing, and this includes family life. Food and energy scarcity will become a huge problem in all developed countries, but especially the ones with cold winter climates and a short growing season. We are inviting you for a long-term stay at the guest house for $100 per week. Monthly rates to be discussed. Books and tools to learn Spanish are included. I will also provide detailed information on how to grow the miracle Sacha Inchi nut. Finally, I can create complex, reconstructive dental work at a cost of about 35% of European and North American prices. A long-term stay at the coffee, avocado, Sacha Inchi farm in southern Colombia will allow one to explore the area and find your individual solution to thrive during the challenging transitional years. Every day, I must reinforce my resolve to move forward on my evolutionary journey and energetically contribute towards the creation of the new species. Please share my videos so that they can reach the conscious individuals that are ready for this adventure. Infinite love.